Right.
And then right before, around 5, you'll come in.
Hi, Liz. I need to change my, what did I say? Hold on. I say Stephen Ross. Okay, bye. Lizzie.
There, now can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you.
Good.
All right.
And then Heather, will you, oh, I'll put it on speaker view. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get my stuff.
Hi, everyone. We're going to get started here in a couple minutes. Hi, David. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Heather, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you.
Great.
Hang on just one moment.
Well, then we need to move it closer. That's why we were testing it.
It sounded really quiet. I mean,
Okie dokie.
Hi, Heather.
Hey,
Oh, good. I can hear you.
hi everybody.
I think Lizzie's getting set up right now.
Yeah,
I'm getting set up right now with some Riesling.
I am set up right now with some beautiful Cuvée Elizabeth Rosé because it is a rosé day. The weather is just phenomenal right now.
Yes.
So, hi Paula, Karen's here. Hi Karen,
Hello.
my cohort, my partner in crime there.
There, now I'm on mute. I should be able to hear everybody.
Okay.
Got the Thompsons in the house. You guys look really cozy. It's so pretty out there in the Edna Valley. Hi Lizzie.
Nice day.
Yeah, we'll get started here in just a couple minutes and just hang tight. We've got a few more people coming in. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. You can hear us okay, right?
Yep.
You sound great.
Actually, for me, recording, it's a little hard to hear them.
Oh, hey,
Lizzie.
talk a little bit more, Clay and Frederica.
Okay, well, can you hear me now?
No, it's hard to hear you guys.
Oh, it is.
Okay, if you want to scoot up a little bit.
Come a little bit
move it.
closer.
I'm a little
A
bit.
little bit closer. Don't be
Really
shy.
close, even closer.
Steve, you're one to talk. You're like,
Well,
Hey, Steve, Steve,
Here.
killing you. Okay, now try it. Tell me about the weather there.
Oh, it's beautiful out here. Yeah. It's sunny, it's warm, there's a light breeze. It's
Really soft.
It's growing weather.
might
I
have to
can hear
just
Lizzie
talk
good.
loud.
we'll
Okay.
have to talk. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is that Jim Cobb? It
And
is.
Jim,
Oh, hey, Jim, you're on mute.
Yep.
Heather, you may be able to unmute him.
Oh, let me see. Oh, I can.
Not want to be unmuted.
Maybe, and he can mute himself again.
Oh, there's James. Okay, James, you're unmuted there.
Still muted.
No, it says I can't unmute him. I'm
Oh,
trying.
Well, he just wants to be seen.
he might have turned off audio. Yeah, that's okay.
Hey, everybody, it's 5:01. Woo!
It is
I
fine.
got wine in the glass. If everyone's got wine in their glass right now, hold it up, please. I'd love to see. Woo! Right. Got a few more people coming on right now. Great. Hey, good to see everyone. And I know you probably haven't seen my face before, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Heather Moran. I'm with the Wine History Project of San Luis Obispo County. And today I'm guest hosting for Slow Coast Wine Association. It's a great association near and dear to my heart that I love those people, worked with everyone for about 7 years. And I've been at the Wine History Project now for about 2 years. Just a quick introduction about the Wine History Project in case you haven't heard of us. We are a group of wine historians, and we really focus on bringing the wine history of San Luis Obispo County to the public. And how we do that, it really started with Libby Agron in 2015, and she worked very hard to bring a staff together. We focus on collecting, archiving, and basically gathering the oral histories of all the growers and vintners here in San Luis Obispo County. And some of the ways that we bring the wine country to you guys is through our exhibits. We also have documentaries and also through our collections, as well as some great events. And you know, right now we can't really do events, but this is another great way that we're connecting through social media, through Zoom chats like this. And I just want to say thanks again to Slow Coast Wine for allowing the Wine History Project to partner in today, because it's super exciting for us to be a partner with a lot of the wineries here in San Luis Obispo County. You can go to our website at winehistoryproject.org, and I'll put the link in the comments here in just a moment. There you can find our legends, a lot of great local history, and a lot of older history from even the 17 and 1800s. So we've been doing a great job filling in a lot of that history. And so winehistoryproject.org, sign up for our newsletter, join as a Facebook fan, and we'd love to hear from you. But, you know, I'm remiss to say that I'm forgetting, I'm not going to forget to introduce the main attraction of today's 501 Wine Wednesday, and that is Claiborne and Churchill. And here today we have Lizzie, we've got Clay and Frederica Thompson, all hanging out in the Edna Valley. And hey guys, it looks beautiful out there. You actually have it looks like a lot of people social distance tasting as well.
Yeah.
It's a nice day for it, so.
Yeah, we're in our winery garden. You can see kind of a little bit behind us how everybody's pretty spaced out. But yeah, it's nice because we're set up for that, being outdoors. I'm drinking Riesling.
Beautiful.
I've got.
Well, one thing what you got there, Clay?
I'm sorry.
What have you got?
I've got
What's in your glass?
a dry rosé, which we call Cuvée Elizabeth, named after.
Hey, there we go. I got that too.
And
How about you, Frederica?
Cuvée Frederica.
Yep.
Oh,
Hey, of course, of course.
my two favorite people. Cuvée and Cuvée.
Well, I like to say, you know, we've worked a lot as partners with Claiborne and Churchill. We actually have worked to put together a fantastic exhibit about the history of you guys coming out to the Edna Valley. Yeah, it's just behind you guys there. And definitely go to Claiborne and Churchill. You can go and take a walking tour really anytime, I think, during the day. It's a beautiful exhibit, and, you know, it showcases a lot of your history, which, you know, I would love to hear, Clay, when you got here to the Edna Valley and maybe back up a couple years before, you know, what were you guys doing, and what planted the seed for you to get here to where you are today?
Well, I have about a 2-hour version of that story, but
Don't do that one.
the 5-minute version is that we were newcomers here. We moved out here from Michigan in 1981. I was a professor of Old Norse, Scandinavian studies at the University of Michigan. Frederica taught German in the same department. And what prompted me to leave was really a kind of search for a new, more meaningful life as I approached age 40. It's called midlife crisis. And on a trip out here, Frederica and I went up the coast of California and started visiting these little boutique wineries that were sprouting up everywhere. And at that point, it began to occur to me that the wine business might be something that I could make a second career out of, a second life. Sure enough, the third winery, or maybe the fourth we visited, was in San Luis Obispo, and it was there that the light bulb went on over my head, and I said, how do you get into this? And how do you get a job? So that winery was Edna Valley Vineyard, which was very different back in 1981, but I talked my way into a job there as a cellar worker. And we went back, got married on August the 6th. Yes, next week's our anniversary. And moved out here and joined the wine industry. I worked at Edna for 5 years. They let us start our own production in the cellar there. So we got a head start without winning the lottery first. And well, gosh, I guess we've been in business 37 years now. So, I mean, I'm kind of the old timer. I'm the dean of the Edna Valley, which means I think that I've outlived all my contemporaries. And that's the way you do it. Maybe we should say how we started making wine. We decided that we didn't want to be another winery that made Chardonnay and Cabernet like everybody else in California. And so we selected as our specialty the wines of the French province of Alsace, which is our favorite wines there. The province is kind of a hybrid of German and French culture, and they make dry wines out of grapes that were generally made into sweet wines. Riesling is the main grape of Alsace, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, Muscat. And so those are the wines we specialized in from the get-go. Over the years, of course, we've made a lot of other wines, and we're no longer holed up in a tiny warehouse winery. And we've got a lot of customers and a lot of wine club members. But let me turn it over to Frederica, who also played a major role in this whole thing. Not just my inspiration, but my cellar worker, my barrel washer, my sugar taker.
I've seen some really great photos of you. You're doing some punch downs.
Oh,
I've seen you racking some wine. So you were really hands-on there, Frederica.
Well, it was a lot of fun. I didn't really think we'd be the only two employees for the first 15 years, but we were. And so basically whatever had to be done had to be done. And we just did everything. Now, of course, it's much more relaxing for us because we have a great staff here at the winery and people who are really good at what they do and enjoy it. So yeah. Elizabeth.
So tell us, oh, go ahead.
No, I was
going to say, tell us about how, how did you pick the Alsatian varieties? Where was the inspiration for all that?
Well, that's a good question. I had lived in Germany a couple of different times for about a year each time, and I always lived close to the border with Alsace, and my friends and I, who were German, would run over to Alsace for dinner and sometimes for a hike or whatever, because it was so pretty and so forested, and the food was wonderful and different from what was 5 miles over the border. And I really liked those wines a lot. I liked the fact that they were so dry. At the time there were a lot of sort of medium sweet German wines, and I was less crazy about those, but anyway, that was kind of the reason. And we took a trip to Alsace before we started making our wine the first time, and we hiked the wine road, the Route de Vin, in Alsace, and talked to small wineries and winemakers there, and just got their take on how they like to make those wines. And we just thought someone should be making these wines. They don't exist in California that we know of, and so we decided that would be our motivation.
And actually, we were warned by the business people, don't make wines that you like, make wines that for the market. And we completely disobeyed that rule. And as a result, it took a lot of arm twisting and a lot of years before we developed a following really big enough to support us. And I'm really very happy that we did. We stuck to our guns and we didn't capitulate to the Chardonnay and Cabernet mentality. And it's been way more fun to have a devoted, if smaller, entourage or following of loyal customer. And by the way, it's the loyal customers that kept us in business these last few months when things were tough. So, big shout out goes out to them, all of you people there.
Right. Yeah, drink local, support local, small business, that's what it's all about. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, one thing in all the studies about Claiborne and Churchill and your history is you have a very historic building that you built from the ground up. And if you guys haven't been out to Claiborne and Churchill, it is a fantastic, not only is it beautiful, but there's a fantastic winery building that has a very interesting and unique history. And I wanted you guys to talk about the straw bale and how that really kind of came to be. Because I hear it is the first one of its kind in California, or is it even in the US?
Well, yeah, and perhaps in the wider world, I don't know, but we were ready to build a winery building, and we were working with an architect who was a green architect, and she actually had suggested that we might consider doing a straw bale building just because of the great insulation. And so that's actually, after reading about it and seeing some videos about it, we decided that we would take a chance on it. And it's been just great. It's cool in the summertime, and even colder in the wintertime because we don't heat the cellar, obviously. But it's nice and quiet. It's an eco-friendly building. It uses the rice straw after the rice harvest that are baled up, and then they build the walls, and then the stucco is placed over it. But it's been really terrific. I love it.
So yeah, all four walls actually consist of bales of straw. There are no studs, no drywall, no artificial insulation. And when you said it was one of the first, it's actually the first commercial straw bale building in the state of California.
Well, that's fantastic.
Obviously the first winery.
Yeah, well, we hadn't heard of any other wineries.
There are a number of houses, number of residences, even in San Luis County. San Luis County has a couple of architects who were pioneers in this straw bale construction. And some of them who helped us, in fact, raise the walls when we had our barn raising party in October of 1995. Okay. We built the winery in 95.
Oh man, that must have been a party.
Yeah.
That must have been a really fun party with lots of wine involved.
We were all exhausted. But
Yeah, it was a fun party, but we were tired.
Oh, that's amazing. So I just want to take a break here and also talk, and I don't know if anyone is drinking some Claiborne Churchill wines, but I know that you all have a couple new releases that you have just recently released, or they're coming, or they are being released here very soon. And I want to make sure we get to the wine in the glass, because that is the most important part of this 501 Wednesday. And so I think Elizabeth is going to talk a little bit about the wine club and kind of what's coming up as far as the wines are involved, and what are we going to taste today?
Yeah. Well, we are trying a few of our new releases. I have them all here, if you can see that. Our new dry Riesling, also our new Chardonnay, our classic Pinot Noir, and our Spanish Spring Syrah. So we had a bonus summer shipment for our wine club. It's a quarterly wine club of 4 bottles, and we offer them a few fun releases in the summer in July if they want to take it as an optional shipment. So a lot of times it's some of our smaller production wines, our Chardonnay being one of those. This is actually our second vintage of Chablis style Chardonnay. I don't know if you can see that. So it's all fruit from here in the Edna Valley, some from Wolf, and a little bit from Green Gate Ranch right across the road from us. And when we say Chablis style, it's more focused on, the pure fruit. It's a nice, lean, elegant representation of Chardonnay. It's stainless steel, tank fermented. And then we do leave it in barrel for about 3 months, but just on neutral, well-seasoned barrels. So it gets a little bit of texture from those as well, but avoiding any of the oakiness of some of the Chardonnays. So we do multiple representations of Chardonnay. People are kind of surprised that we have those in the lineup, even though we're known for, our dry Riesling and dry Gewürztraminer and Pinot Noirs. We love variety. We drink a lot of our own product too. So nice to have a full, we probably have at least 10 different white wines out here. So a couple different blends. My mom's drinking the one named after her, the Cuvée Frederica. That's a Chardonnay blend with our dry Gewürztraminer and dry Riesling. So we've been making that for many years. I actually saw one of our pictures of our decennium label.
That was our 10-year anniversary.
10-year anniversary.
Our 10th year.
Yeah, so we've always done an Edelsvicker as well, which is a blend of Gewürztraminer and Riesling, and then sometimes a little Pinot Gris or dry Muscat, and once in a great while Pinot Blanc, but usually just the 4 noble grapes of Alsace. So today I'm drinking the new dry Riesling. That's our 37th vintage. 2019. It's a Central Coast blend, so a little bit from our own estate vineyard that's right in front of us here. Also some from Mesa del Rio, which is up in Monterey County, another nice cool climate growing region that does Riesling well. And then also even a little bit from Wolf Vineyards too. It's a 3 vineyard blend this year. So really tasting nice, a lot of stone fruit, floral like honeysuckle and lemon, but nice bright acidity, really clean and crisp, which is how we like it. So our new classic Pinot just came out, and also our Spanish Springs Syrah. We make about 5 different Pinot Noirs every year, different small lot bottlings. The classic is one of the only ones that goes out into distribution. So if you have our wines in restaurants or see it in retail, it'll most likely be either the classic or what we call our white label Pinot Noir. And then the Spanish Springs Syrah is somewhat newer for us. We've been sourcing fruit from our neighbors over off Price Canyon Road at Spanish Springs for the last few years, making Grenache and Syrah and a blend of the two. So it's a nice added wine to our red profile, and we'll be continuing to do that, and probably an Edna blend as well each year. So
That's great.
yeah, my dad's drinking our rosé too, which we released in April for the summer. So that's coming to the end.
And where can everyone purchase these wines, Lizzie?
You can get them directly from here. We are offering curbside pickup, and we're also doing tastings and wine by the glass daily from 12 to 5. Or you can go on our website, claibornechurchill.com. We ship all over the place directly to your door, and we're offering a lot of shipping specials, during this time, just so that people don't have to leave their home. So, or you can give us a call too, whatever's easiest.
No, I have a question. I don't know if it's a silly question or not, but the Adelsvicker. Now, is there a meaning behind that wine and that name?
Yeah.
The word Adelsvicker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm the linguistic and etymological.
Tell us, Mr. Linguistic
And I have to tell you that
Professor.
edel is the only part of that we really understand. Edel is the German word for noble, and it's understood that a blend called Adelsvicker can only contain a combination of the 4 noble grapes of Alsace. Those are Gewürztraminer, Riesling, Pinot Gris, and Muscat. The word Zwicker is more troublesome, and we etymologists have given up on really trying to figure out where that came from.
The closest we can come is
Yeah.
Zwicken in German, which means a pinch.
No, it
So I don't know if
might be
that's
some weird word for a blend of 2 or more, but
It's
sometimes
like baking, a
It's lost-
pinch of each
lost-
variety.
lost in the mists of time. But it's the word that was traditionally used in Alsace for that blend, and we just took it over. We called it Adelsvicker from the get-go, from 1983, our first vintage, and really didn't care if nobody could say it, but then it was difficult for them to order it if they couldn't pronounce it. So for a while, we changed the name to Proprietor's Blend. And then after a while, we got tired of that name, and we said, oh, heck, if you're going to drink our wine, you got to learn how to say Adelsvicker. So Adelsvicker it is.
Just like Gewürztraminer.
It's
too.
fun to say. It's fun to say.
Yeah.
it's fun to say once you get it right.
Yeah, I think I was there yesterday and someone said, I'd like to buy a couple bottles of that. Wait, the it's like Gewürztraminer. Gewürztraminer.
Yeah.
I have a collection of mispronunciations of Gewürztraminer.
Or yeah.
Some of them, yeah. Squirtzaminer is my favorite.
We say Gewürz till it hurts around here.
Hey, I've got that shirt. I love it. Cool. Well, I want to open it up to the group, and if anyone's got a question, we do have the chat section open, as well as if you'd like to unmute yourself. I think I can unmute everybody. So if you, it looks like Paula's got a question here. So let me see.
I unmuted myself. I have a question for Clay, and it's not wine related really, but are you still making crossword puzzles? And are you putting them on the labels?
You know, I actually haven't constructed a crossword puzzle for years, since my only one to appear was in the LA Times. And if I remember correctly, it was July 21st, 2013, but I could be wrong.
You better get busy.
Well,
On the other hand, I do crossword puzzles
daily.
every day. Sometimes
I
two.
don't know why our picture's not on there. Oh, there it is.
Here you are.
Bit of an addiction. It's of course
I'm not in it.
crossword puzzles because there's a limited amount of eating, drinking, and cooking that you can do. So there's time left over for crossword puzzles.
Well, that's great. David, do you have a question? I'm going to unmute you, sweetie.
No, I just have a comment. Your Gewürztraminer is the best Gewürztraminer I've ever had, and I really love Gewürztraminer.
Thank
Aw,
you.
thank you.
I have to second that.
Love
For
to
me,
hear that.
it's a wine that has a lot of floral grapefruit. I adore it. I really like it. I happen to be drinking Cabernet, but I really.
Hey, Cabernet. We don't grow that though. David Brightstein, I see. Do you have a question?
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
I want to compliment you on the production of this first webinar Zoom meeting that you're doing from the Hawaiian History Project. I think having it outdoors, live like you have it with your 3 guests are terrific. And we've all probably seen other ones. And this is the most friendly. And you, Heather, are a natural at doing this. And I think if you run out of, if you can't do it one week, you should ask Lily to sub for you.
There you go,
Lizzie,
Lily.
I'm sorry, Lizzie.
Got a new job, Lizzie.
And I want to give a shout out to Steve Dooley, who I've known for years. Hi, Steve.
David, our hats off.
Well, hello, David. I saw you on there, and you know, you're just tuning in at episode number, I don't know, 6 or 7 or so. So right above you on my screen is Paula Dooley, and she's the one who initiated this. But it was just to get it started so that various people in our community could host and or speak about what's going on here. So that's where we are. So it's nice to see you, David.
It's good. And we got to get the word out about this because there should be a lot of people on here. And I'll talk to Heather and see if I can figure out a little help for you.
There you
Well,
go.
frankly, David, what we do with this is that it's being recorded and we put it out on our website and through Facebook and all those other places. And it gets viewed mostly there, but it's nice to be live and see everybody.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, and it
Have you
definitely
done-
makes
have you
you
done
want to
outdoors?
visit.
Have you done outdoor visits all the time like you're doing today?
We've had a couple people outdoors, most are inside, but we've had a couple outdoors. The noise thing can be an issue for people depending on where they are outside, but I agree. It is beautiful to look in the background and see the beautiful outdoors.
It is.
No.
But I have a question for Clay and Frederica. And I just was wondering, how was it when you first came out here? And you know, working at Edna Valley Vineyard, that's kind of okay. But you were a professor at Michigan, and then you took a cellar job. It's kind of like that's not really upward. But then you started going brand with varieties that are not the normal. And was it a little discouraging? I mean, you persevered and you've done great. I mean, was it a little frightening at any time?
Oh, it just required a lot of extra work, I think, trying to tell people about the wines.
Right. We didn't want to make it easy for ourselves.
Yeah, not be easy and relaxing.
It was quite a shock, but to go from being an egghead professor to a cellar worker, making $6 an hour in 1981 and lifting 90-pound barrels and so forth. But and it was hard, and it's been hard for a lot of reasons over these years. But I must say, it's always been fun. It's never been bad. It's been hard, but satisfying and fun. I'm really blessed to have had 2 lives and 2 careers, and I've got the best ones right here beside me.
Thanks.
I have another question. Who was here when you came in 1981?
Well, there was
Winery wise, or
yeah.
Yeah.
Edna Valley Vineyard was a new winery. It wasn't even completed yet, and nobody in town knew where it was when we tried to find
You
it.
didn't know what it was either.
There was
yeah.
the predecessor to Corbett Canyon, which is now a center of effort, was called Lawrence Winery, and that existed. And then
Chamisol.
Chamisol
mhm.
Goss family,
started
yeah.
about the same year, 80 or 81, and that was it. And Bill and Nancy Greeno started Sausalito Canyon, but they had no presence in the Edna Valley. It was out, you know, out Lopez Drive. And so, yeah, and I think, honestly, we're about the only winery in the valley still under the same ownership.
Well, Peter Creek.
From all those,
Yeah, then you
Cedar
also had
Creek.
Andy McGregor too in
yeah, there was, of course, the grape growers.
74.
The pioneer grape growers were Jack and Catherine Niven, who had Paragon
I
and
don't want to put in.
Open Edna Valley, and they were our hosts for many a party and many a dinner. And
Tally wasn't
there was Norm and Carolyn Goss, who started Chamisol. He was a retired restaurateur. And then Andy McGregor, also a pioneer back then. He never opened a winery, but he had one of the earliest vineyards, and that is now Wolf. Jean-Pierre and Alpha Wolf bought Andy McGregor's vineyard.
David, I see you have a question, David Brightstein. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment that in 1977, Dick Graff at Chalone Vineyard came down, and I'm sure Clay knows about this, and bought grapes from the Paragon Vineyard for my store and 2 other stores in LA and 1 in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we created a brand called Chaparral, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And the first vintage was 1977.
Wait, what was
Clay,
that, Clay?
Did you work on,
Back in
what'd he say?
I was there bottling that wine up for you.
He was bottling it.
Well, that's probably where the first time we met, but you know, that led to quite a deal because after 2 vintages, that's when the Niven family and Chalone formed the joint venture to create Edna Valley Vineyard.
That was it. And Dick Graff was my mentor in many ways. Dick Graff was the one who actually hired me after I met the boys at the Valley and asked if I could get a job. I had an interview with him on the telephone, and he hired me over the phone. I think because he thought it would be fun to have someone who went to Harvard, as he did, working in the cellar for $6 an hour. And
So you were actually working up at Chalone?
No, I was here for the first vintage, the 81.
Oh, I'm having trouble hearing. You're the only one. Lizzie was good and loud, but I don't know. Is anybody else having trouble hearing?
A little soft.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the soft side. You can come a little bit closer. Don't be shy.
I'm 106 years old, you know, my voice is so anyway, more.
Well, we got fond memories of your area, believe me.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of the things too, which was really exciting, just to jump in here for me, you know, researching a lot of the history of the Edna Valley and San Luis Obispo coast was just how amazing the Chardonnay was out of the get-go. And, you know, they really planted, the Niven family, the Gosses, you know, everyone really planted in this unknown area, the Edna Valley, which, you know, hadn't really had a lot of, you know, no one had really planted here. There were some trials by Jack Foote, who was the farm advisor here. So they were really pioneers in kind of taking a risk on what to plant. And Chardonnay really became the star because I believe it was 82 that the Edna Valley Chardonnay was one of the top ranking wine. It was the top wine of the second Judgment of Paris tasting that they hosted with Stephen Spurrier in 3 different markets. And then another 20 years later, matter of fact, in a Royal Grande, Tally actually aced the Chardonnay tasting on the 30th anniversary. So a little history for you guys, and a little bit of a
we ought to ask Steve what
preview.
brought him from Napa Valley down to Edna Valley. Steve, what brought you down?
Well, the really short answer was kind of like Clay. It was my job, but I had been up there for 10 years, and I remember speaking in front of Josh Jensen and making the comment about being Napa Valley eyes, and he said, "Is that a little bit like lobotomized?" You know.
Oh.
But I just gotten so used to the culture up there. But I left for a while. I was in Australia and worked there, and then came back and was looking for a job, and there was a great opportunity. Dick Graff was looking for a winemaker in '87, and we connected, and he hired me, and I moved to San Luis Obispo. My brother went to school here a couple years before that, so I was familiar with the area, but I had no idea if they were making good wine down there. And sure enough, through Edna Valley Vineyard, they were, and the method or the style of winemaking I learned there, and I still use it today. So it's a great opportunity, and I still live here and love it here.
Thank you.
I'm actually going to jump in here because we've got a question real quick from Aaron. And this is to Clay and Frederica. What are some of your most memorable vintages? And yeah, and it looks like Aaron asked that. So if you want to jump in, Clay and Frederica, any memorable vintages?
I would say 2001 for Riesling.
Oh, yes.
The 2001 Riesling got a gold medal in Alsace at the World Riesling du Monde, Rieslings of the World competition. And we were the only American winery to get a gold medal that year. So that was memorable. I was going to say the 1986 Riesling was one of the best vintages we had. It was actually featured in the Wine Spectator before the Wine Spectator got too hoity-toity for us. And it was a wine I took up to Berkeley to sell, as we did back then. We just got in the pickup truck and went up to visit the restaurants. And I placed it at Chez Panisse in Berkeley. And they bought 10 cases of that 86, and I was so happy I couldn't stand it. I stopped at the Gilroy Outlet Center on the way down and bought a hat, you know, just so exciting.
That's fantastic.
A lot of embarrassing anecdotes I could tell. David, if I might butt in here and tell you something about those early Chardonnays that Chalone made out of Edna Valley grapes under the Chaparral label. Well, we in 1978, which was a stellar vintage, and the wines were made at Chalone, as you know. They made wines for you and other retail stores under that Chaparral label. They also made wines for Jurgensen's, the gourmet deli down there. And by a tremendous fluke, I actually had a taste of the 78 Jurgensen's Chardonnay from Edna Valley in Ann Arbor, Michigan, a couple of years before I went into this tailspin and decided to change careers. And that's the reason I looked up Edna Valley as a place to visit on our trip out here in '81. And that's the reason we moved to California.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm writing this down. This is great.
That's a great memory.
Great.
It's stories like that
1978.
that keep us happy. Well, actually, I'll tell you what they did in 1977 when Chalone, we bought the Chardonnay grapes. The stores involved were Red Carpet in Glendale that's gone, and Wally's in Westwood. And then in San Francisco, John Hogan, his store.
Yeah.
But the Nivens gave Dick and Phil Woodward, remember Phil, of course, enough Pinot Noir to make 100 cases for the four of us stores at no charge.
Oh yeah,
that's nice.
Wow.
Just to prove that they could produce good Pinot Noir.
Right.
And it was great. I still have a couple bottles of it.
Oh my gosh.
And it's pretty special. And I'll never forget that one of the stores sold it for $5 a bottle, and he sold out like in 2 weeks.
$5 a bottle.
And I think Wally's and I charged 15, which was a lot of money at the time. But you're right. Those were good memories in those days.
And David, I just to introduce David, he owned the Duke of Bourbon and major wine retailer down in, you were in the Valley?
Yeah, we were in the Valley for 45 years. We sold it. Judy, my wife, is right here with me.
Hi, Judy.
We sold it in 2012 and retired from active business. We do friendly consulting with friends and stuff like that today, but we're not involved in any retail business. We had a great time. We really did. And if you go on the Wine History Project website, there's a little story about how important the Edna Valley was to Judy and I. We really felt very, very attractive. And you know, as a merchant, sometimes you regret things that you weren't able to do. And selling more Claiborne and Churchill wine, I've always felt bad that I didn't. And Steve, who I knew from Louis Martini, you would have thought I would have been a big customer, and we were just a little customer. And in my years now, I'm looking back at some of this stuff and saying, gee, I wish I could support more. Some of the wineries that were my friends that we just didn't have the market in our store for. But so I'm telling both you guys, the fact that I didn't sell enough of your wine had no bearing on how much I cared for all of you.
Thank you.
Hey, you were getting the word out about Edna Valley, you know, from the beginning, and that's important. You know, that's really important.
I'm surprised it's not even more populated. Clay, why isn't it? Why aren't there more wineries there? Is it a lack of land?
There's not a great deal of water for one thing, and
It's a smaller valley.
and the valley's only 7 miles long, and there are a number of sort of parcels that were divided up from ranches, and a lot of retired people from LA and San Francisco build their dream homes there. But there are new vineyards and new brands every day. The Vintners Association, which is now called Slow Wine
Slow
Country,
Coast wine.
Slow Coast.
it probably has 20.
It's been too many names.
I attend.
20 or 25 members, many small brands. But I don't know,
It is, as far as an AVA goes, it's, you know, if you think of the valley, it's blocked by the Santa Lucia Mountains, and then you've got the coast on the other side. And between Edna Valley, Rio Grande Valley, you also have all these areas that are outside of these two AVAs, and that's where the Slow Coast has put together a petition for a new AVA to really get both the North Coast and the South Coast to combine. That way, there's a lot more wineries, and most of these people are producing the same type of varieties, like Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. They're all very coastal because they're right along the ocean. And I think that's really the key when you talk about San Luis Obispo Coast and this new AVA, is it's all, you know, between 5 to 7 miles from the coast, which makes for beautiful Chardonnays, Pinots, maritime influence, and cool climate varieties.
Yes, very tasty wines.
For sure, yeah.
Who's the gentleman at the bottom? Andre, you look like you've been enjoying the meeting. I guess he's muted, so he can't say hello.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can unmute him. Andre, are you there?
Nope, still muted.
No, I can't unmute him. Sorry, Andre.
There he is. Now he
Can you
did.
hear me now? He took
Any
his
other
picture down?
questions before, you know, I have to say hello to TJ DeJoni, because I saw his name up there. So I don't know if it's TJ or if it's Margaret or the clan from Piedra Creek, but another very historic family in the Edna Valley, Piedra Creek. So good to have you guys on as well.
Thank you. Sorry, I've been so quiet. I'm actually doing two of these at the same time right now. That's why I'm on video and I'm traveling through an airport. So
nice.
I want to say, you know, just thank you to Clay for being such an icon and a gentleman. I know my grandfather always held him in highest regard. And Clay, I remember you from back, you know, when I think I was 5 years old or something. And it's you've just had a profound impact on the Valley. And we're all so grateful for everything that you've done and the representation and just the class. You've always had just the greatest of class and demeanor. And we all look up to that and thank you for it. So.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I didn't think you were that high.
Yeah, Piedra Creek, we cannot forget to mention it.
Yeah, an original. Cool. Well, I'd love to stick around. If anyone else has any other questions, I'm going to kind of round up and finish this. Anyone else have any other questions before we go? I just really want to thank Claiborne and Churchill, Clay, Frederica, Lizzie. Your wines are beautiful. I am tasting the Chardonnay right now. Really quick before you go, if you haven't had a chance, everyone raise your glass. I want to do a group toast just to say hello and thank you guys for joining us today for 501 Wine Wednesday with the Slow Coast. And my name is Heather Moran, guest hosting from the Wine History Project. Check us out, winehistoryproject.org, and definitely pick up some Claiborne and Churchill wines when you can, because they're beautiful wines and beautiful people out in the Edna Valley. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Cheers. Woo!
Thank you very much, Heather. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Great to see you guys. It's so fun.
Thank you, Heather.
Good to see you.
Bye, everybody. Nice to see you today.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. Oh, there's Karen Peace. Oh, Jody Ray was on.
Oh.